Oh, there we go, a little bit. So around 19 mile an hour, I'll say. Huge difference. Ooh, even hit that bump there, and it did wobble a little bit, but not too bad. Way too long. This is the Qronge Lava. In today's adventures, we'll be taking the Qronge Lava out for its first ride. And I'll put it through all the normal tests, and we'll do a night ride as well, and I'll tell you what I think about it. So stay tuned. All right, now we're on the board here, and I have not taken this one out at all previously, so yeah, hopefully the brakes aren't squeaky and stuff like that. I apologize if they are, but sometimes those things do take a little bit of adjustment. But yeah, I have not had time to take it out prior to this, so this is the first ride, so you're gonna get to experience it with me. So without further ado, let's get it on down there to the hill climb test. All right, we're down here at the hill climb test. I can tell you already, I need to tighten these brakes up a little more because even with the locks on, it kind of wanted to roll with me there. So yeah, I'll have to get those tightened up. But anyway, let's go ahead and do this hill climb test. This is my normal hill climb test, and I'll go up here throttle only like I do in every other bike and track, and we'll see how it does. So here we go. It does say that it has a 750 watt motor with a 1000 watt peak, so it should have no trouble climbing up here, even at 36 volt. Not going super fast. We're going about 11. Now we're starting into the steep part of the hill climb. Going down to 9, 8.5, 7. Down to 5. So almost there though. 4. Yep, there we're picking up speed again. So it did drop down to about 4.8 there. Now I'll go ahead and pick up its speed here. So it did successfully climb up there. Definitely not the best hill climber, but it did make it. Yeah, like I said, do keep in mind this is a 36 volt E-Trike. And it is 108 pounds. I have about 10 pounds of gear in the back, and I weigh 220, so it does turn very short. So next we'll take it on down there to the speed test and see how it performs there. All right, now we're down here to the speed test area, so let's test out the top speed here, and I'm just going to try to do this throttle only and let's see how fast it'll go. We go up to 18, 19 again. Fairly fast track with it unlocked. This is with without any pedaling, just the throttle. So about 18, 19 at the most without any help. So let's give it a little help now. Let's see if we can get it to go any faster. Let's go get it all the way up in the highest mechanical gear here. I do have filling in the pedals, so I don't know if it'll be enough to get it above that. Doesn't appear to be, so that seems to be its oh, there we go, a little bit. So around 19 mile an hour, I'll say. Seems to be its top speed, so not too bad, especially for a 36 volt. That was one thing I did like about the Qronge Lava too, is unlocked it would do over, it would do about 22, which is pretty quick for one of these trikes. I would say this one here is probably more stable. Seems to be very stable. It's a little wider stance than some of them. And that works out good for it. And here we are. So they just made this road. So, and this hill climb is much, much steeper than the other one. And we're getting to do a little off-roading here as well. It's pretty rough. Trike's handling it well. The mirror, not so much. No surprise there. Why, I'm not a huge fan of these type of mirrors here. They always do that. Anyway, let's go ahead and climb up the steep hill. I can start from a stop here. I'll try to do it throttle only, but I probably will have to give it some help because this is a very steep hill and it's got gravel. And it being front wheel drive, it might spin out. Yep, I'm definitely going to have to give it some help here. I think I did shift down. So nope, it will not climb the extreme hill on its own. Not surprised. Didn't really expect it to, because heck, even dual motor bikes have a little bit of struggle with that hill. Anyway, we're just going to continue on. I'm going to go down there where I normally do my rough road, off-road test there, and I'll see you there. I want to say too, I did figure out how to use the cruise control, as you see. Just hold that throttle down a few seconds and it stays going. All right, we're gonna go back down that hill climb test hill. Let's see how fast it goes down the hill. 7.5, not bad. Yeah, these brakes are starting to break in and work a little better, but they are a little noisy. Definitely gonna have to do a little adjustment to those. All right, I decided to stop down here by the creek, took some photos, and I wanted to use this area here. We're gonna use this area off-roading because now we're going to try to climb the steep hill out of here and go through that gravel up there. We'll see how it handles it. First, let's get it turned around here. All right. Feet on there. And let's see how it climbs this hill. I would not doubt that I'm going to have to give it a little help, but I'm in the highest gear, so I may not be able to. But here we go. Yeah, it is not liking this. This is also a very steep hill. This is at least 20% or more here. Man, I forgot the downshift, so I am in the highest gear. Trying to help pedal up here, but nope. This is as far as this is going to go. So I'll have to get off here and help it climb on out of here, but that's okay. It is a very steep hill, and I've had lots of regular bikes that couldn't climb up there either. So another one of my extreme hill tests. It's a very small hill, but it's very steep. So anyway, let's try it out here in this gravel. This is really loose gravel, so yeah, this is probably going to be really fun. Oh yeah, it's just fine. Really rough. Good overall. I'm going to dodge some of that broken glass that's out here. And of course my mirror's all wacky-deed because it's, yeah, like I said, not the best. So since we did this all through now here, I'm not going to bother going up the hill. We're just going to go ahead and take the bike path, because that's where this trike's going to shine, is out there on the bike path. And that's really what it's for. All right, I made it to the bike path here. So let's see how this trike performs on the bike path. Like I said, this is the ideal place for it. Yeah, this path's been a little busy today. But yeah, as you can see, it does really well on this. This is where it's going to shine, these bike paths. And in the cities, you know, especially where you got flat terrain, this trike's going to do really well there. It was just in pass 4 there. I could probably bring it down some more. Try to keep it around 15 on these paths when I can. I want to be able to keep riding my bikes and trikes on these paths and following the rules. It's beautiful bridge crossing here. Stop here for a minute. Actually strike that. We're going to start that over. Let's go all the way down to 1. All right, let's see what kind of speed we're going to reach on pass 1. First, let's see if the throttle goes with the pass levels or if it gives you everything. I'm guessing it's probably giving me everything on the throttle. Yep, so that means we're going to have to pedal to find out. So let's pedal in pass 1 here. Looks like we're going to get it up to around 9. Yep, around 9 mile an hour. So let's bump it up to 2. That seems to go around 12. So let's try 3. Yes, and this is probably going to take us around 15, maybe 16. Yep, around 16. All right, let's try 4. I'm assuming 4 is going to go on up about 20. Yeah, maybe not. Just a little bit faster than 3 there, about 18.5, maybe 19. Yeah, we're going to say 19 on there. And we already know that 5 is just going to give us everything. Let's go ahead and slow it back down. Could go that way, but I think I'm going to go this way first. We're going to go up the hill and go down the little commercial park area that we like to ride down and check that out. Even though right now there's a big truck in the road. So we're going to go down this way so we can go around him. Thing I just thought about, I forgot about the current. So let's look how much current we're up in past 5 here. Yeah, I'm just going to use the throttle too. Try to give it everything. Looks like we're about 20 amp. Yep, about 20 amps. So this must have around a 20 amp controller. If that display is correct, makes sense to me. The speed it goes, that's about right. And once we get to the top of the hill up here, I'll test out the voltage and we'll look at the battery meter and see how accurate that is. And also too, I wanted to tell you, yeah, it seems like that display, the speedometer is very accurate too. And I left it at 22 where it was, and that seems to be pretty much spot on. So it is definitely very close to what my phone says. All right, let's look and see. It says we're at 4 battery bars, and I think that's out of 6. Let's look at our voltage here. It says our voltage is 36.9. And let's compare that to the chart. B, this is our battery percentage. This is our voltage. So that should be right around 60%. And so, yeah, this shows more like, well, now one of the battery bars come back. So it showed more like it's at 80%, but we're really at 60%. Just so you're aware, because, yeah, if it would have stayed where it was another bar missing than only a 4, then I'd say, yeah, that's pretty accurate. But no, that's showing more like it's at 80%, and yeah, we're really at about 60%. So yeah, keep that in mind. And as you use these bikes for yourself or treks in this situation, you begin to learn how much range you have. So yeah, the more you ride it, the more you're just going to know it, and you're going to know, yeah, I have 5 miles left, or I have 10 miles left, you know, so keep that stuff in mind, because it just takes some experience with that particular bike or trike to really understand that stuff without even having to look at this anymore. But yeah, we're setting to 37 volts. That's 60%. Let's see how stable this one is. We'll get it going and the cruise control should kick in, and it looks like a little speedometer thing that pops up here when it kicks in. And once that kicks in, we're just going to let go of it and let's see how bad the front wobble is. Especially with this camera being up here, that should add to the wobble. And there it is. Actually, I was wrong. It shows up on the left side. Let's see. Yeah, it's a small amount, but not very much. Very stable. Get it straightened out here. Oh yeah, doing 20 mile an hour too, but we're going down a slight downhill. Very nice. Very nice stable trike. Yeah, just a little bit of wobble every now and then. But like I said, keep in mind I have that camera out there. So as a matter of fact, let's pull it in. Just gonna lean over and pull it in while we're moving. Oh yeah, huge difference. Ooh, even hit that bump there and it did wobble a little bit, but not too bad. Pretty darn stable. Only thing that's not stable is that mirror. I said I don't really care for those mirrors too much. All right, now we're down here at the old truck stop, so we'll go ahead and do the brake test over there. Try to get all the way down here, and so we can get up to speed, and let's see how well the brakes do. I believe I need to adjust that rear one a little bit. It is a little bit noisy right now, but they have improved since I started out. But first they were really bad, but they just needed to be broke in. Once I got them broke in, now they're much better. So anyway, let's try to get up to a little bit of speed here and see how quickly we can stop. Taking way too long. Taking way too long. I think I only really got up to about 13 there, because it's not super torquey track there, but it did rock up this rear. At least that rear tire did, because of that transaxle. So that's the tire that I think that most of the stopping went to. That in the front. The front didn't lock up though. So at 13, I hit it quite a ways back, about right here, and it slid. Let's see, a space and probably another 15% or so. But it did stop pretty good, even with these mechanical brakes. I would love to see them put hydraulic brakes on there, but it would make this so much better experience, especially for the prices. This trike is currently priced at $10.99, so I really think they should give us some hydraulic brakes, even if it costs an extra $50, man. Give us some hydraulic brakes. It'll make all the difference. Hydraulics always the better way to go. And in addition to putting the hydraulic brakes, I think they should upgrade these rotors from 160 to like 180. Now, even bigger would be better, but 180 should do just fine, especially at the speed that this trike goes. I don't think you probably really need more than that, but 2 180s should be perfect. And while we're stopped here, I just want to let you take another really good look at it here. Man, I love that paint job on there. So gorgeous. That red paint is beautiful. Very nice looking trike. So next I'll see you back at the house, and then we'll have to figure out how much range, and then I'll do the night ride. All right, we made it back home, and we're down to 35.1 volts. And that's somewhere around 40% there, a little over. And I can't tell you, climbing up some of those last hills on the way back here, it was dipping down to 1 bar. So yeah, it's not going to go a lot further, because when you get to the second half of these batteries, they usually go a lot quicker. But let's see what kind of range we went. All right, we did go 11.24 miles. And keep in mind that this is only a 13.5 amp hour, 36 volt battery. So that's actually not too bad, because with a 13.5, you should only get around 15 miles or so in this hilly area like I am. So I think it's going to at least get there. It may do a little bit more if you take it, especially if you take it easy and you put it down and pass 1. But what fun is that? But anyway, like I said, mine's always going to be the worst case scenario when I do these speed tests or do these range tests usually. So yeah, like I said, I'll still do the night ride and I'll look at it again, but I'm guessing it's going to do about 15, judging by how much it's already used. And like I said, we're at 11.25, so yeah, it's going to go probably about 15. So that's kind of range you expect if you're in a really hilly area like like this. Now, if you're lighter, you're probably going to go 20 miles. And if you're in the flat area, you're probably going to go 20 miles. And if you both of those two things together, yeah, you probably get a little over that. So keep that in mind. But yeah, we're going to at least get 15. And I've seen some 48 volt ones that didn't make it that far I've done recently. So that's not too bad. That's actually not too bad, especially for 36 volt. And it's only a 13.5 amp hour battery. Not bad at all. So next, I'll go into the night ride. All right, now I'm out here in the dark with a Qronge Lava. We're going to go ahead and turn the lights on here so we can see what they look like in the dark. There we go. There's what the headlight looks like. So I can need to lower it down. Probably a little better right here for now so I'm not blinding the neighbors. I'm going to go ahead and sit this back here with the tail light. Pretty decently bright the way it is. Here we're going to move this up a little bit so you can see it better. And that's what the tail light looks normal. And that's with the brakes. So it does get a slight amount. Well, it does get a slight amount, but not a huge difference. But this headlight looks pretty decently bright, so lock that. And what we'll do next is I'll go ahead and put on my helmet and everything, and then we'll go out and take it around. Next thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and put my helmet and everything on, and we'll go take it for a ride out around the neighborhood and see what they look like on the road. So see you in a bit. All right, so now we're out here on the road. Get that. So let's see what it looks like. And we've adjusted around a little bit. Could get it at the right height now. It is nice and wide. Not the brightest light I've seen, but it's nice and wide and decently bright. So yeah, not bad at all. And of course, this trike does not have any turn signals. It just has the headlight and the tail light and the brake light. And what the... Yep, our brakes are a little squeaky. And I did leave the battery level where it was. So as you can see, it dips down to 2 there. Need to go ahead and raise the speed up to you. I only got it at 1 right now. There we go. That way we can make it up the hills. And it has definitely got a lot cooler than it was earlier. Probably should have put on a heavier jacket. I was just taking a short around the neighborhood here, so not too much. All right, just gonna go ahead and turn here, see what it looks like up the hill. Yeah, it's pretty decently bright. So yeah, these lights get a passing grade. Not bad. It's definitely lost a lot of steam as the battery's gotten pretty low. Down to 1 bar there. So there we go. That's what the lights on the Qronge Lava look like. Right, let's go ahead and put the park and brake on there. Take one more look, then we'll go back here and see what these tail lights look like with the brake lights on. And there you go. Yeah, it's visible. Like I said, not the brightest tail light, but it'll do. And the headlight's actually pretty decent, so can't really complain there. So next I'll give you my final thoughts and conclusions on the Qronge Lava. So stay tuned for that. All right, and one more thing before we do that. Let's take another look at our range here. Yes, we did do a little bit more. So now we're up to 11.88 miles. And let's see what our voltage is setting out. And we're down at right at 35. So we only lost 0.1 voltage. So yeah, so we're still down there at 40%. So like I figured, it's going to get at least 15 and maybe as high as 20 on a battery charge. And if you live in a hilly area like I do. Now it's time for me to give you my final thoughts on the Qronge Lava. First thing I want to say is I think Qronge has made a huge improvement over the previous model, the Aurora. I'm glad they decided to go with the 20-inch fat tires over the skinny 26-inch tires that the Aurora had. This gives it a lower center of gravity, and the fat tires do much better for light off-roading and gravel. With that being said, let's get into the positives and the negatives. Let's start with the positives. First, I love the frame design and the beautiful paint job. That glossy red color is gorgeous. I love the wide swept back handlebars and the comfy seat with a backrest. The large rear basket with liner is very nice and spacious. The plastic fenders work well. I do love the fold-up front basket. It's nice to be able to fold it away when you don't need it. You can also quickly remove it as well. I also love that they gave this trike 7 mechanical gears. Because of that, I didn't experience any issues with ghost pedaling. It also has a good top speed for a budget E-Trike. I was able to reach speeds around 19 mile an hour down on the flat ground and 27 mile an hour downhill. It also does a decent job climbing most hills. You will need to help it up steep hills with some pedal power. That's to be expected. Now for the negatives. While it's a great E-Trike overall, there's a few things that would greatly improve this E-Trike. First, I think they should consider adding hydraulic brakes with larger rotors. The mechanical brakes work okay, but feel a little weak in my opinion. Second, Qronge should consider upgrading to a 48 volt system. Third, I think they should also consider making this E-Trike rear wheel drive. I can tell you from experience it will do much better in certain weather conditions and terrain being rear wheel drive, especially in snow and ice. Last, I think they should also consider adding a suspension seat post. I think overall it's a great E-Trike for the price. This trike is currently priced at $999.99, but prices of e-bikes are always changing, so check my link in the description below for the most current price, and use my coupon code WRLA50 for $50 off. Thank you so much for coming along on today's adventure. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with others, and I'll see you in the next one.